Hi everyone. I'm filming this a lot earlier than I thought because when I said that I would probably finish this book pretty quickly because it was quite short, I didn't expect it to be in one day. I mean, I am a quick reader, but I don't always read like all the time. I don't have the time to read. Sometimes I don't actually have the energy because of medical conditions. So that, I'm a quick reader, but I haven't finished it in one day for a long time. I started it yesterday. I only read a little bit last night, and then I read a lot today, so I basically finished it in virtually one sitting because it was really good. So yeah, on to the actual book. This is The Betrayal... Sorry, I couldn't remember her name. The Betrayal of Natalie Hargrove by Lauren Kate, which is the author of... Sorry, I didn't put my door shut. Oh, I'm rambling again. Right, calm. Which is the author of Fallen, which was the first ever book review I did. So immediately when I saw it was by her at the library, I wanted to read it because it's by her and I know she's a good author. The blurb doesn't give a lot away, and it's not really... If I'd just read the blurb, I don't think I'd pick it up, but I just gave it a go because of who it was by. So yeah. So I'll just read you the blurb so you can get a bit of an idea. All it takes is one fatal mistake. High school beauty Natalie Hargrove has spent years plotting to become prom queen. She's got just what it takes: popularity, glamour, and ruthless ambition. When someone threatens to overturn her perfect plan, Natalie needs to take control, but a critical error plunges her into a sea of secrets, shame and scandal, because it turns out there's one thing even Natalie Hargrove can't command, and that's fate. So it doesn't give a lot away, like I said, and it sounds pretty cliche. There's only one thing I hate more than cliche in stories, and that's bad grammar, both of which are featured a lot on the site I write on. There are a lot of cliches and there's a lot of poor grammar. I mean, obviously published books tend to have good grammar unless you're Stephanie Meyer, because she has awful grammar. Don't get me even started on her. So yeah, that's the summary. Basically, there's a girl, Natalie Hargrove. She used to be what Americans might call trailer trash. She lived in a trailer on the sort of like the posh side of town and the bad side of town, and she used to live there. Her mum's been married like loads of times, I can't remember how many times, and she's basically turns into a gold digger. So in the space of a few years, Natalie goes from being trailer trash to being top of the high school food chain. This starts in her senior year, and the school's called Palmetto, and I think Palmetto, is it? I can't pronounce it. And the school's called that, and the town's called that, and they have the ball, the Palmetto Ball or something. And they have like prom queen and king, but they are treated, or prom princess I think, they are treated as actual royalty for about, I don't know, weeks. There's so many different events. They have a coronation, and then they have the actual ball, and they do their speeches and all of this lot. And she has a boyfriend, and she wants them both to be prom king and queen. She's been planning this day for ages. I don't particularly like her because she is your typical... This is where the cliche kind of comes in a little bit. She is your typical, very snobby, thinks she's better than everybody, and worries very much about materialistic things. She has to win this. She won't accept anything else, and she's quite harsh to her boyfriend about it sometimes. So yeah, she's determined they've got to. The really kicks off on the Mardi Gras party, which is just before the votes are counted. It's costume only, and this boy called Justin... Oh my god, I can't remember his name. Justin B something, it begins with a B, and they call him JB. Oh, that's really bad that I can't remember that. I've just been reading that. Bookshaw or something? I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. He goes dressed in drag, and it's hinted in the story that he's very unlikely to be crowned, because he's up for it as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that crucial bit. Although it's a high school voting type thing, they it is very much influenced by adults in the background, more like the very generous people that are doing donations, the parents, mummy and daddy, who want their daughter and son to be king. So they bring down his reputation, and it makes him less likely to actually win. And he's there making a complete idiot of himself. And this boy says to him, basically, there's a druggy guy who ends up being more important than you think. At the party, Natalie and her boyfriend Mike are getting it on a little bit. They're not fully having sex or anything, but they are very close to it in a room. And he comes in and he's been filming things. And he ends up filming this scene by mistake. And he says then, I've got footage of Justin being a right idiot. So they go downstairs and they see that Justin is completely and utterly wasted. He's done 2 keg stands and everything, and he basically passes out. So they take him into their car, and they're going to take him home somewhere or something. And because Natalie she knows there's no threat for her, but she wants her boyfriend obviously to win. So she comes up with the idea that they leave him outside the church, dressed in drag, looking like an idiot. So when he wakes up and everybody goes to church the next morning, they see. So obviously it brings down his reputation. So they put him outside, and as Mike goes to get the car or something, Natalie decides to tie him up as well. And she finds some pills in his pocket and thinks they're drugs and scatters them around and then puts a bottle in her pocket around the area on the floor. And the next day, this is a slight spoiler, but it's very early on and it's like the whole plot of the book, so I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm just going to tell you this one thing that is so important to the book. That he actually is found dead. They say it's a bad mix of alcohol and drugs, but when Natalie looks in her pocket, she finds she finds the bottle, and she finds that it's take 1 pill every 6 hours to prevent seizures. So obviously her and Mike are in some way responsible for his death, and she is mostly. So basically that's the whole plot of them trying to still win, and yet they are trying to make sure that they don't get questioned and don't get caught out, because they could go down for it. All Natalie really minds about, Mike's worried about going to jail, Natalie's worried about not being Palmetto Princess. She's very superficial. Like I said, I like to like main characters, but I didn't. I really didn't like her, to be honest. I mean, she's just a bitch, really. The same as in my last review when I read my last book, which was Need by Carrie Jones. I didn't like the main character because she was too whiny. So there was a lot of there's a lot of fictional characters that I don't like, and I like to like the main character. But it's the same with Vampire Diary books. I love that series and I hate Elena. So she gets a bit better, but yeah, I really don't like her. So I'm not overly keen on Harry either. Now I really sound like I hate all characters. I tend to prefer the background characters and the main ones. I don't really like Katniss in Hunger Games either. She's alright, but yeah, I tend to more go for the other characters, like Fred and George from Vampire Diaries, what am I talking about? From Harry Potter, Damon and Bonnie and Meredith from Vampire Diaries, and loads of characters, Gale and Finnick from Hunger Games. I'm just going to shut up. My last few videos have been me rambling, seriously, sorry. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy this. There was a very shocking ending, which I kind of ended up predicting a little bit towards the end. It was very shocking, but I did wonder, sort of in the last few pages leading up to it, but I suppose that's building suspense. I thought they're going to do it, what I thought they did. Obviously I'm not going to say it. And then they did, and I think it could have been made better, the ending. It was a bit of an anticlimax. They could have described things better. they could have made it more emotional. There was no emotions whatsoever. There weren't really much emotions from the whole thing. As with Fallen, I found that it was a good book, but it kind of took ages to really get going, and by the time it got going, it was over. And I really found that with this book as well. So it's obviously Lauren Kate's style of writing. Torment was much better. Don't get me wrong, she's a brilliant writer. Very easy to read, but yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I don't. She just, it gets going and then it ends, and you just really want more of it, more from her. So there won't be a sequel, I don't think. There's no mention of a sequel, and a sequel won't really work. This is obviously just a one-off book that she made. And that's it, really. Rating. I really don't know. That's really bad. Well, Need by Carrie Jones, I gave it 4 stars. But I was slightly leaning towards less. But I did really like it. And I really like this one as well. So I'm going to give this 4 stars. It was okay, but not as good as Fallen or Torment. And yeah, it's not the best book in the world, but I did enjoy it. It was a good read, and it did keep me captivated. I was reading it a lot. Like I said, I sat down and sort of read it non-stop all day, and kind of just did it in one sitting. So yeah, that was a good book. And the next one I'm going to read, which I will start reading now, is this one, which is Entangled by Cat Clarke. This sounds really good. Really looking forward to reading this one. So this review will be coming up, I don't know when. It depends how long it takes me to read this. This is quite a bit longer. That one was a very short book, so this one's only, it doesn't even say, 372 pages, so it's about 100 more pages, so yeah. But it was very good. So that will be coming up, and thank you for watching. I would recommend this if you want easy reading that's still good and still has a good plot, but don't expect miracles. Don't expect you to be like, oh my god, this is the best book I've ever read, because it won't, basically. So yeah, thanks for watching and stuff, and comment and stuff, and recommend me books. Thank you.